All right, we're rolling officially.
Okay.
Are you ready to start?
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, special guest today. I feel like the introduction could get rather long. And like I said, I'm still trying to figure this out because I'm used to doing like radio interviews, which are very different than podcasts. And I'm like, I've podcasted before, but like with DJ Juanito and like with people who are like seasoned podcasters. I'm more of like a radio host and I'm so used to doing interviews, but you are like a very different type of guest for me today because you're not from like the music industry. I don't think you make music, but you're a creative, but you're also like a tech genius. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but Muse is in the building and we're going to learn all about everything that you're doing today, or at least I'm going to get to learn today. And whoever's watching, you're in for a treat because, I mean, the stuff that she works on is phenomenal. It's like really some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen. When people ask you what you do, how do you explain it to them? Because I feel like you're in like the future already.
Well, I guess my background is in fine art. I started off as a painter, artist, and just, doing various just different CGI and like video stuff just for fun, like, along the way. Got really into just the fine art thing. And then in 2019, wanted to take that a step further and build a virtual reality art piece. So some friends of mine put me into a headset in Times Square, and I was in there from like 8 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Like, didn't come out, built this whole like crazy abstract world, and then immediately like bought myself a headset. So then I just was making different abstract virtual reality spaces to kind of pair with my physical artwork. Okay. I will do like a show where I have the piece and then you can like step inside.
Okay.
So there'll be that aspect, which is where everything started at. But then as I really just started getting deeper into the tech behind it and then building like places, and then 2020 happened, and now the whole idea that there's this need for like virtual spaces to interact in occurred, and also just the fact that I wasn't able to have any art shows or anything like that because of the whole lockdowns and shit.
Yeah, because everybody's inside.
Yeah, everyone was afraid to come to the art shows. So it was like, we did still do them. But
yeah, just underground.
But they were more private, yeah. Like, it was just more like invite only.
So I feel like when we met, it was like probably just before pandemic, right. Just before, I mean, maybe even right before you got into the VR. Because I feel like when I first came across your art, it was like strictly... Was it canvas? Was it, because I saw a lot of just paintings.
Yeah. So like rest in peace Hesh.
Yes, rest in peace Hesh.
He introduced us. Yeah, I was like right before everything.
How did you and Hesh meet?
He's just like, yeah, he like is the GOAT. Like he used to just like introduce a bunch of artists to each other, or like he would always hit me up like with a venue or something. Just like a really like dope, good person. Everybody knew him because he used to just be around drawing the hearts on the ground all the time. And he was just friends with everybody. So.
Did you grow up in New York, like in the city, or where are you from?
So I grew up in Connecticut.
Okay.
And then I went to school in Boston for a while, and then I moved to Brooklyn, and then I moved to LA, and then I moved back to Connecticut, and then I have my studio in Brooklyn. So
it's been all over.
Yeah.
Has art always been like something that you worked on, or like were you going to school for other stuff?
I was always like. From the time I was little, like really just into art and good at art. Like I went to an art school from like 3rd grade to high school or whatever. And I remember like them asking us to draw like this still life or whatever, and like whatever, like for this test to get in. So I always was good at art, but I just didn't necessarily like think it could be a career. And I was like really academic, and I like did a lot of sports and stuff too. So I kind of just like went more that route.
Got you.
I actually like ended up getting a psych degree and worked for like a year after school, and I was like,
it wasn't real.
No, I'm not like, I was like, I can't, there's no way. So I was like 21. I'm like, let me just try this art shit for real. Like, there was a collective of us who had this studio space in New Haven, Connecticut. And every time someone got booked at Toad's place, they would then like come to our studio and like they would book
Wait, what's Toad's
artists.
place?
Oh, it's a venue in Connecticut in New
Okay,
Haven.
I'm not even familiar.
Okay, so it's like a famous old venue, like to the point that remember the Doors song, like "Blood on the Streets"
Oh,
in the town
yeah,
of New
yeah.
Haven? It's because at Toad's place, Jim Morrison got kicked out of his own show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like and arrested
It's
at his
crazy.
own concert at Toad's place. So like that's why
Wow.
that was like why he made that song afterward and like mentioned New Haven. But anyway, so it's still a venue there. So we used to like book artists to come down over there and there was an art gallery as part of it, and it was just like ended up being a big collective of creatives and stuff. I had never been around that type of environment before. And then I was just like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I did an art show there, like sold it out. And then I ended up getting contacted from some galleries in the city. And then also like back in the day when there was like Whip and Greenhouse, I remember like painting it at Whip, which was a nightclub.
Wait, but what were you doing? You painted like murals or?
Yeah, so the men's bathroom and Whip.
Oh my gosh.
Like I have still friends that will show me their pictures that they took in that bathroom.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, that's funny because I didn't even know you back then, but we were all there.
Well, that's
like,
the crazy thing, because like now I was reading like through the deck of like, you know, yourself, like I've been familiar with you, but now what your company does, and like the company's fairly new. But like growing up, if you would have said to anybody like that's our age, like, hey, what are you gonna do in the world of art? I feel like the only thing to do is like, oh, I'm gonna sell paintings. And now it's like become this whole thing that honestly that you're at the forefront of. But like growing up and then getting into like these things, did you just think like, all right, well, my life, if I'm gonna make money from this, I have to just be able to sell paintings? Or did you really see it going this direction?
I didn't even necessarily think of it like the money thing was not my first thought. It was just like, this is what I love to do. And I'm just like, that's what I'm going to do, you know? Like, so that was like my mentality. And I was just young. And like, I moved to LA with, have never had been there. Like, you know, just trying really stuff out. Just going for it. Oh my gosh. Know? Like, so, no, things worked out though, like for the better. So I'm glad I did. And like, I'm glad I believed in myself, because I feel like there was a lot of people who was like, oh, that could never be a career or whatever. So shout out to like all the kids who are like 21 years old now and don't know if they should like go with their creative gut or whatever. And it's like, do it, go for yourself.
It's interesting too, because they like you taking psychology and like having that kind of as like, I wouldn't say the backup plan, but like as something that you explored. I feel like it's always like you're searching for art to speak to like all these different parts of people. And
I also feel like it has ultimately helped me to build this art tech company now, because like marketing is all psychology. And now, so if I can help companies to market through art and through technology and combining those two, not only am I like opening a whole new industry, but then I'm also like, you know, providing jobs for all these artists that I know who are great at what they do and stuff, and like they need another avenue to express themselves. So I think that's a great thing too. And there's so many, I'm excited to see what industries like adopt it the most and first, and how everyone like finds their ways that it can work for them. But yeah,
I think it's just cool that you're like so open to kind of like the different parts of where it could go. Because like, to be honest, I was talking to my girlfriend this morning. I'm like, yeah, I'm interviewing Muse. She has like heavy roots in like AI and the metaverse. And my girlfriend's like, I'm just so scared of like the future of that. And I feel like art, like a lot of artists that are very, like if you think about art, I shouldn't say a lot of artists because I only know a couple of artists, but me being like outside of that world, when you think of art, you think very like fine art and like expensive galleries and like wine and like very elitist, or you think of like graffiti and street art. You don't really think of like the medium that caters to both, you know?
Right. I think that like for me, always like paving my own way, and even just like curating my own shows, renting out the venue, doing everything from A to Z ourselves. Like, so it's like we're not asking for approval from any gallerist or whatever, you know, like I think that's been like a portion of it. And like we've built up this cool like artist family community of like ton of artists now that, you know, you'll see everyone on their group shows and stuff, like doing their thing and growing in their own directions, which is really cool. And then just taking that a step further now with the art tech, I don't think it's supposed to replace real life or anything like that. I just think it's essentially like more of a just an addition to real life, something to like bring a little more like magic to the situation or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, make it fun. And then also, you know, people are really into tech, gaming, their phones and whatnot. So if we can now bring them back to whatever real life products we're trying to sell or ideas or whatever it is, then I think that's cool too. There's different ways you can use it too. Like you can use augmented reality, which is on your phone, kind of like a Pokemon Go thing, you know, when you're holding your phone up and something that's not really there in real life will pop up, which is great for marketing. Like you could say you're a football team, you could have your mascot like in people's living rooms.
Literally.
And they can selfie themselves with it and post it. Like I think that's just fun. And that's also something fun for your family in your living room too, you know? It didn't like ruin the day or anything.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
like,
for sure.
Because I do get her perspective. Like I'm very conscious of how it can affect people, the morality of it and all that, because we've all seen, you know, Black Mirror and stuff like that, and I'm not trying to like make it a replacement for reality. Like,
well, nah, I mean, I kind of told her, but like at the same time I can see, because I just tried your headset on for like 5 minutes and I didn't even want to leave. Like, so I see where people could get carried away with it, but I think that's with any kind of new technology. And the special thing I think about this, and specifically what you're doing, is like even just being in your world for a few minutes. I was like outside in a courtyard. I was inside in a dispensary, like around a lot of like weed and like cool cannabis stuff. I was in an office that was like a very professional office with like different type of art on the wall that was at the cannabis spot that was outside. It's like you really could go into whatever kind of vibe or whatever kind of world you want to be in. It's not necessarily like, okay, well now you're stuck in like our universe and this is what's happening.
I feel like the whole Web3 is like based on community, right? So it's like now to build community spaces, but virtually is cool because you can connect with people all over the place. It's like if Clubhouse or Zoom or something, but now you actually have a Clubhouse. You have a place to do it, and you can curate that place to be whatever your community is into, you know? So I think that's fun. I think also like yes, it's tech, but like you can meet with other people in there and actually have conversations and stuff. So it's like, I don't think it's necessarily bringing us apart, you know, like it's actually like filling the need that I found in 2020 where we were apart and there was no space for us to like meet at or whatever from all over the place. So I'm just trying to fill that void, but then also, like be very, very conscious about the way I'm doing it and like, and moral about it at the same time.
What's the difference? Because I was trying to figure it out and it's all confusing to me. Web 1, Web 2, Web 3.
So like Web 1 was just like the creation of the internet, right? And then like Web 2 is you know, Google and searching and stuff like that. And like Web 3 would be like an actual like interactive.
Okay.
You know, well Web 3 is like with the coins and your wallet and your interactive like
physically feeling
VR
like you're there
stuff and actually being able to link all those things. Like imagine making a purchase with your Ethereum inside of a store that's in the VR space, and then you actually get that t-shirt in the mail or whatever, you know?
Got you. So it breaks down, like, I guess the difference is it breaks down the barriers a little bit. Like the second, like Google search engine is like I could go on there and buy stuff, but I can't like actually like mess with it. You know what I mean?
You could well, there's two perspectives, from the buyer's perspective and from the seller's perspective, right? So from the seller's perspective, it helps me because now I have no overhead on an actual, you know, rent.
Got
right?
you.
The people can come in and see all of my merchandise, try on different colors or whatever, and see how they like them before even coming into the store. With the AR, you could say you have like furniture company, you could place the furniture in the room before ever like buying it.
Like in like if I wanted to have like this actual room, I could have
say like see how this table looks, you know, in here before, you know, like, and then just take a picture of how it looks in there, and now you can compare options. Like there's if you're a building developer, you could build out units before the building's even complete. Like there's just a million different ways you can do like social gatherings, you can do like clubs and like fun stuff like that. And then it's like a mix of gaming and real life, and like you can, you know, have that for entertainment, you can have it for work purposes, like school purposes, whatever it is. Yeah, it's just kind of wherever each person's mind is at, like, and what their businesses are already doing. bringing that over to just make it, more interactive and more community based.
In 2019, when you first put on the headset, what was like that experience? Because you said you were in there from 8 p.m. till 2 a.m.
I still have this piece, and I feel like I really like.
Did it trip you out, like putting it on for the first time? Like, did you?
Well, I started out in blackness, and then they just gave me all these like things I could paint with, and it was like I could paint with like paint, or I could paint with like bubbles, or I could paint with light. I could just make whatever. So I made this like. I kind of like made like my idea of God or something at the time. It was like, I wrote like I am love underneath me. And I did like all these lights around me. I was in like outer space.
So when you put them on, you knew you were like immediately like, I need to be in here and like be creating. Did you see like what it was capable of, like that first experience?
Yeah. Well, like when it really got me was I drew like a house how I would normally draw it, but then I'm like, wait, I have to draw all the sides.
Okay,
like,
wait, what do you mean?
Like, I was like, okay, you know how you draw it 2D, right?
Oh,
but now
I got
I was
you.
like, wait, but now you need all the other sides of the building, and I had to actually walk around it and draw.
Oh my gosh!
It in 3D, you know what I mean? So I was like, wow, that just like blew my mind. And then from there on, I just was like, experimenting or whatever. It's like it's a couple different processes to like you can achieve like the VR things like a few different ways.
What happens if you draw like a house just like flat, like how you would on paper? Is it just like a paper thin wall?
Yeah, it would be like just a 2-dimensional.
So everything that like I would see in the metaverse that comes from just scratch, it's like just a black emptiness that's now being.
Yeah, or like when I'm building the spaces, it's on my computer, not in the headset usually, but you can build either on the headset or in your computer.
So you'll just build something and then you can put the headset on and you hop inside of it.
Yeah, like so I've actually like, there's a studio I have that I can like sculpt in there and stuff. So I like sculpted my character and then I was able to just like send it over to the headset and now like sit across from it at the table like me and you are, and it was like 20 feet tall, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
I would never work with like actual materials again. Like to go to Michael's and get a canvas and buy paint sounds like.
Well, for me, that's like therapy. Like I got to do it.
Okay.
Like I love it. Like there's no replacement for that. And then also like even just seeing art in real life is still like just something about the energy that the artist put into the canvas when they were making it that like really jumps off of the canvas and to the viewer that like makes them, that's what like it touches your heart more so, like than the digital stuff. But at least like for me, like it helps to translate to any people who want to just like come visit a gallery of mine or whatever. And like sometimes my pieces are all over the place, so it's easy to like have them all virtually in one location.
Gotcha. People can see the whole portfolio like in one spot.
Yeah, like and also like because normally like as an artist, you're just like when someone asks, what do you have available? You're just giving them a PDF.
Well, that was gonna be my next question. Like if you jump in this thing, 2019 is 8 p.m. Start making this house. You start making all of this place. Then 2 a.m. comes, you take the headset off. Now, how do you go back to it?
I took a break. I went out into Times Square and all the neon lights and everything in Times Square. And I was like, so what is reality? Like,
it's like trips you out. But you can't take that with you. Like, do you like just leave your friend's place with like a USB and you're like, okay, all that work that I did is now
it's a file. Yeah. Like you can export it to your computer or
do you still have that?
So I can send things back and forth. Yeah, I have it somewhere. Yeah.
So after that, you take this thing, you go out into Times Square. You're like, it fucks up reality for you.
Mm-hmm. And then I literally ordered a headset like right there and was like, okay, it's over.
That's how I felt. After you showed me today, I was like, I need to order a headset immediately.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like, and I mean, just from everything to like gaming and or just like, professional settings like this. Like, I think it can benefit even not only the person who's like visiting the space, but also whoever's, using the space to market to a whole new clientele. I think I read something that the projected market value was like 65 billion by 2026 or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. I saw that. I don't know. I feel like I saw it in the metaverse. I feel like everything I've seen now is inside of there, but I read something maybe.
But you also get content for like your normal like social media and things that you're doing currently, like it's rather than having to even like shoot your product in, rent out a studio to shoot your product, you could build a photo studio where you're shooting your products in.
Wait, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, or like you don't even have to have, you know, all the variations made in real life yet. Like say you're trying to develop a product or whatever and you want people to choose between the ones that we're actually going to like put our money into producing. Like, I think it's a great way to just like explore different options, like create content, like even the events that we do in the VR spaces, you can record them. So now that's like content for you as well later. You can post those to like YouTube or whatever. And you can also, eventually they're going to like have a link where you can link in your YouTube as well and like play it live, or even a Twitch.
Got you.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
It feels like it just makes regular life like a video game, honestly.
Yeah, because I'd rather like for me, like say for instance a Zoom class, like I'd rather go in there as my avatar, sit in the classroom, watch the lecture or whatever with like different 3D elements. Like say it's a science class, they could literally bring in a whole 3D.
Go on with the chlorophyll.
You know, they could just bring in whatever, you know, like so models or whatever for the students. And it's more interactive. I can actually like see the things in real time. If I need to go back to it, I can just like put my headset back on and go check out the diagrams or whatever again.
Does everything have to be constructed? Like, because, you know, I'm not like an artist by any means. Like, if I were to make a house in that world, it would not look like a house. I'd be like Patrick Star of that world. It would just be like a rock with a hole. Do you have to be like an artist to like really participate? Because it sounds like you need some design background.
Either, well, I guess like design or maybe architecture or something, or like or art would be good. Or then also people who are into tech or coding or anything like that, they may be into it, or game programmers.
What's like after you first like try this out, what was like the thing that you did to kind of learn about it? Because it doesn't seem like
I just did like YouTube University.
Just watching YouTube videos. Is it like a program that this all runs on?
Though, like it was like, you know, one YouTube video and then that one didn't work, or like I made an error halfway through. Now I have to watch another video on how to fix that problem.
What kind of videos? Kind of was like, is it like?
Oh, I was just like searching whatever I wanted to try to do and like following along.
If you put the headset on, is there like a program that it runs on?
Oh no, so this was on my computer now.
Okay.
When I'm building on now I primarily build on my computer just for like just like my eyes' sake and stuff.
But where do you build? Like if I open up my computer, I can't build anything.
Oh, so there's 3D programs, like any 3D modeling, 3D software program, like game developing program. There's like a number of them. So it's kind of whatever one you get good at. So
you learned this from scratch, like coming from an art background. You went from painting. You tried this one time. You go into it. You start kind of designing. I already had
the background in CGI and After Effects and everything, though. So it was almost just like adding another dimension in.
Got you. Okay.
It took me a little while to learn the programs. It's different, but after a while, you kind of like understand what's where, and then you can. You know, the tutorials get less and less.
My mind's blown. I honestly, because I don't know anything about CGI. I don't know anything about any of these worlds. And I feel like the average person doesn't. But then you spend like 5 seconds in your world, for example. I'm like, damn, I want to build my own. I want to like rebuild and do podcasts in here and like everything.
Which you could remake this room. And as we're recording here, you could actually just turn your thing on and have a virtual version of you that would just be mimicking what you're doing here now, and people could like sit in on the session or whatever.
I'm gonna have to call this company that I'm newly familiar with to help me with this, because I don't even. So tell me about. So is this what your company's doing? Like it's called MWork.
So MetaWork.
MetaWork. Yeah. Okay.
So it's WRK though.
WRK.
Minus the O.
Got you.
So we have MetaWork, and then we also have a subsidiary under that is MetaLearn. So that's more like of an education based, and eventually we're going to do a nonprofit like situation with that. But MetaWork is what we do is we specialize in bringing companies from Web 2 to Web 3, helping with like a range of things from virtual reality, events and spaces, custom environments, augmented reality experiences, which are an app on your phone where if you hold your phone up, it would be triggered by a certain image and it would put whatever they want into the person's reality. And then also, the other Web3 stuff that people are probably more familiar with, like NFT creation. We can like launch crypto coins and stuff like that. It's kind of whatever they need. Like, I guess our goal is to just like have this overall umbrella for all of the creative. So that way when you are using our services, you don't have to go find 10 different companies, one that does AR, one that does VR, one that does the coins. Like, if we have all the creative staff here, make it easy for you, and just do it that way. And now you can have your own headquarters or whatever.
Does it take like a long time? Like if I came to you and I was like, listen, I want to hire MetaWork. They need to help me design the sickest podcast studio. I want to have like a stage here. I want people performing. I want, like, from the time that I come up with the idea, what's the process in actually getting that done, and how long do you think it would take?
So for me, it would just be like seeing maybe an example of pictures of your mood board of like your room or whatever, getting some like ideas of what your goals are with the space, maybe certain things you want to link into the space, if you want to link to your website or whatever, and then kind of like build around what you want your user experience to be, and then actually just building it. So like sometimes I'll like outsource to my staff to build different parts of things, but then sometimes I'll just do it all on my own. But yeah, it takes like a couple weeks, or it depends on how big the room is, how many rooms. It can take much longer. If I just developed that like 7-floor building that you were in, so that took about like 6 to 8 months for us to like do. But that was also the prototype and like the first one, So, since then, we've grown our team, and like it's gotten a lot more streamlined, and also just. It's kind of uncharted territory. So we're like, well, what does the market need? And like, how can we help people? And we found this like niche.
When you guys work together, are you all like triggered into, I guess, like one, like if you're on the computer, if I'm on my computer and I'm working like on this wall and you're working.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. No. So basically it would just be me kind of delegating, I need you to make like this object animated to spin or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, like to somebody, or like, whatever I need to make. Like if it's an AR thing, I would just, have them.
So you make like each individual piece in like a different, like I could
can,
make one in
yeah.
mine and then you put them all together.
You can, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's the best way to do it, I think. Because then you can switch objects out if you want new furniture or something. I like to put everything in there separately, but it depends on how you're doing it too. If you're making your own VR app, then you would need it all to be in one file.
It's crazy to think of it, like, actually after seeing it. I'm going to put like clips up in the camera so people can know what we're talking about. But like, just like the way you have the courtyard, it's like, to hear you speaking about it now, it's like, okay, well, it's not like you just walked into this empty place that already had grass and like clouds. And
no, I have to like literally put, it starts out just as a flat plane, then I have to like texture it with grass or whatever.
You put like each cloud,
all
everything.
All the textures, yeah, like the sky, everything. Like,
and then the clouds moving, is that something?
That's an animation, yeah.
So you put everything together, it's like still, and then it starts, like then you decide what's going to be animated, or when you add it.
The different elements are like that object itself would be animated.
Do you smoke a lot when you do? I feel like it would trip me out. Like I'd be in there and like I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Well, I'm building it in the computer, so I'm just like, I know what's gonna. It's almost like you're building it small, and then now you blow it up and you walk inside or something. It's
okay.
Like, I don't know.
Well, so then the space that I was just in, like with the courtyard and the building and everything, it starts out as like very small pieces.
That started out just on the computer as, like a flat plane, which is now like the grass, and I put like walls around it. And then I started building the building. And
so when I looked at the grass, right, it was still like a little bit blurry. Is that from it being so small, and can you add more so that it like looks like actual?
You can make it bigger. You could also, like, as tech advances, because you could make it way like really realistic, like how they do for CGI stuff. But in the VR, you have to consider that everyone doesn't have the same phone as you, or you're developing for everybody. You want it to work for as many people as possible. You don't want their thing to crash.
Yeah.
So there's like a certain amount of like file size that I can build with, But as tech advances, they'll make the file sizes bigger and bigger.
See, that's where I start getting scared, because like when I was first getting into that courtyard area, I felt like there was a second where I was just like falling in the middle of nowhere. And I feel like if it
But
was
then
more,
your guy landed.
yeah,
on
my guy landed in the courtyard. I was like, oh, okay. But if it fell for like 2 seconds longer, I would have freaked the fuck out.
No, yeah, because it's funny because there's actually like a spray paint program in the headset that's like a game kind of. But I actually was like just working in there, and you have to stand on a scaffolding and stuff, you know?
My gosh.
So like now I'm in there for a while, and I'm like starting to get like kind of scared of heights. Like I'm like, am I gonna fall off of this thing? Like forgetting entirely that I'm just like in my living room.
It's crazy.
So yeah, it gets like so realistic, you know, but yeah, like I would say this app I like it especially because it does have the social element. Like you can, if you and maybe your girl while she's at work want to log in or whatever at the same time, you could actually say hi. You'd be like, hey, and like wave
Hey,
to
what's
each
up?
other.
We would never
or
get
like
any
do
work
a little
done.
dance move or something. Yeah. And then like log back out. Like I think it's fun. Like it's just like a fun place you can see your friends. Like we did our launch party. We had like 150 people come through. We had my friend who's a DJ in real life. She made a DJ mix for the space, for the event. And we have like her avatar, you know, dancing behind the booth.
How have you seen like the tech evolve? Because I feel like it's got to get to a point where she could actually DJ and like it's just.
Well, she can if she put the headset on.
Okay.
Then if she wasn't doing it through her computer, if she actually put the headset on and was holding the two things in her hands, then it would track how she's moving. So she actually like it would look like whatever she's doing.
Yeah. Could you build something like that, like actual turntables, like say I wanted turntables, right? And I want to be able to put the headset
like a
on.
working one?
Yeah, like one where I'm like actually scratching.
Theoretically.
I feel like that would be so crazy.
Yeah, theoretically. Because I actually was talking to somebody about building like a music studio that you guys could like collab. Not that I would actually be able, like, I don't know how we would bring like Pro Tools or whatever into it, you know, like, but even just to have that space where you can meet with the other person you're collabing with, play tracks back and forth or whatever, and be in different states. Like, I think that's helpful. But yeah, eventually, like, I think there will be, you know, the tech that you can just like bring that in and have like a fully functioning working space.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like even right now, if I'm messing with this board, I could put like the volume all the way up and talk really loud, or I could like talk really low. Like I feel like if you
could do that, yeah.
Yeah, like that's got to be so trippy.
Yeah, you could do that because you saw how when you walk away, like say something's like playing music, and if you walk away from it in the headset, it'll get softer.
Yeah, that freaked me out too. I was like, I'm inside. What part of the world was that?
Oh, the Sky Lounge.
Sky Lounge. Yeah. Okay, so I'm inside. It was like a venue. It felt a lot like South by Southwest, honestly. It was like an outdoor venue, a stage, and a DJ. And if I like turn my head to the right and the DJ's here, I only hear it in this ear. If I go that way, I only hear it in this ear. It's like it adds to you feeling like you're really there.
Right. And I love that it's like super clear and also like you can even add talking groups. Like if you only want to talk with like 3 people in the party and not all 100, you could like add them to a talking group and now just have your private conversation at your table.
Oh wow! So like if I walk by the table, I won't hear it, even though I'm like.
Oh it would just only the 3 people in that talking group would hear.
Have you seen like the technology evolve a lot even since 2019? Like, is this the first headset you've had?
No, this is my second headset. I actually just gave my old one to my son. He was so happy.
What is he using it for? Is he spending
he's been doing the spray paint thing. There's also like a Jurassic Park game.
Oh wow! So
you're like with the raptor, like running around.
That's crazy.
He was like screaming. But it's cool. Like I went into like this cool Salvador Dali thing that was like the elephants with the really long legs.
Okay.
Like it was just like in a desert. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, just like really weird.
And do you find like who builds those? Like, are you?
You can you can look wherever whenever you build an app or anything like it'll have in the code or whatever who the builder is.
Okay. What's it called with the headset? When you got like the new one, what's the biggest difference between like the original ones and the newer ones?
It's a little lighter and like a little more comfortable, and also it can just run the programs way better.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's just like where the older ones like trip out a little bit, like or
Like
they
some of my
freeze.
spaces will glitch on the Model 1. Like,
It,
because it's like the capacity is like probably, the tech has grown so fast. So like the capacity for that one is probably just not enough of a processor inside or something.
it's crazy.
Yeah, like it's pretty cool. Like it's fun for me to see it in the headset. But then I think it's also like vital that it just works on your phone
Yeah.
or your laptop or whatever. Like you don't need a headset.
Yeah, but
We
I feel
recommend it
like
highly.
yeah, you don't
But
get the
yeah,
full
like you don't get the
experience.
full. But like also, I see how like just the computer or the phone might be like good for like a more corporate setting. People who are used to Zoom or something.
Yeah,
It'd be
that's
much
true.
easier for you to just press the link and now you're in the space on your phone or whatever.
Yeah,
You know.
these companies need to buy their employees headsets.
Yeah.
Did you ever see? I'm sure you have Ready Player One.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know
It's
how
funny because the Avatar platform is Ready Player Me. Like, and
really?
yeah, and they provide the avatars for like most of the real time avatar like hosting sites.
Wait, so Ready Player Me is the one
Is
they?
like, so if you, yeah, Ready Player Me, if you go in there, you create your avatar and then it'll work on a number of different platforms. Whenever you log in, it'll be your same character.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's trippy.
Yeah.
Have you seen like any of the technology? Because I know in that movie it got to the point where this kid's hooked up to a treadmill with like bodysuit and like, is there anything like that
They
yet?
have that, yeah. Well, they have that like especially for like filming or gaming and stuff like that and animating. Like
Okay.
if I want to animate something more easily, I would just get one of those haptic suits that like records all the movements and then you just pair it to the 3D model.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm
But
tripped
even for
out.
like, those portal things that you've been seeing lately, like those, it's
Well,
like a
I've been in like
giant.
virtual room. Like when I was in Paris, I went to this thing called virtual room and they put like a thing around my waist that was just like to keep me within this like square box. And then I had the goggles. But like this had to be like 2018, 2017. And it was hooked up to like a giant computer. It was like a tower that was like
Well, you
crazy.
remember like when the computer was first invented and it like took
Yeah.
up the whole room.
That's exactly how the
Yeah.
virtual room spot. And like what I was manipulating was very like it didn't look realistic at all. It looked like it was like you grab this like blue stick and you put it in like the slot and you take like the red stick and you hit like the bell with it or whatever. Like it
Well,
doesn't look
even
anything
if
like
you
what it's
if you
now.
look at like even something like Sandbox or something, it's like still a little like pixely, kind of like Minecraft or whatever.
Okay.
And the reason is because of the file size that each plot can support. So like
Got you.
the more file size, the more realistic we can go with it. That's why I like to build like for the host app that we use because they allow you much bigger file size.
Gotcha.
And that's why I can build the spaces to be more realistic. But I think that's like so important to have them be more realistic because you can't actually facilitate a serious meeting in Minecraft. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like no, but now like if you really feel like you're in a real office and there's music playing, there's like a lady at the desk, there's some sculptures
Literally like
around.
the accounting office I was just in.
Yeah, there's like a lady typing at her computer. We have conference tables and you can sit in the chairs and really sit down and have a meeting.
If somebody bought like because I know like the real estate like the Web3 real estate like Sandbox and what's the other, there's one other big one, Decentraland.
Yeah.
So essentially like what you've built, you could buy real estate in these places and like if you wanted to take that world and just place it in there.
It would just be like a ton of bread because you'd have to buy enough plots to make up all the megabytes.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean in there, how does that work for like
You
somebody
get
who's
15 megabytes per plot, and then it's like usually, I don't know, it's like a few grand. However, depending on how much the crypto is at that day or whatever,
got you.
to buy one plot. So you'd have to buy
And
a
what,
number of plots.
with 15 megabytes, like what would you be? Nothing.
It's not that great.
So like even the room when I first like jump into your room, when I hit the link in your bio, not underscore your muse, and I click the link in the bio, it brings me to the app, and I'm there in that room. Is that room more than 15 megabytes in its own?
Yeah, that room is like I'd say like 100 or more.
Oh,
and then some of the
wow.
objects are even 100 because like if I want to animate something, or like there's certain textures. you know, it uses more or less megabytes. So like the textures especially. So if I can use the textures a higher resolution, then it's going to look more realistic. If it's a lower, it's like if you were watching a movie in HD versus like 720.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's wild. So these two places, I guess the Decentraland Sandbox is like, they're the more popular, like were the first, or because
They
those
were
are the
like
ones.
the first, I'd say. Like they were the, yeah, like the first popular ones, I think. And then now, like, you know, there's other hosting platforms that are popping up that are, I guess, taking that model and like taking it a step further. Even like for kids, it's like Roadblocks and stuff, but they're just like making that model for adults now.
It's pretty interesting, like, because I'm thinking of it from just the real estate perspective. Like, you know, I'm selling like commercial property now. And like, if I have a building that's available in New York City versus like a building available in like, I don't know, in like Des Moines, Iowa, you know, it's obviously day and night for how much the real estate's going to cost. But more so because of like in New York, you're like around all these open places and you're like on the water and all these like kind of, I don't want to say like superficial, but these like in IRL things that you could experience, where I feel like the area in like Des Moines, Iowa could still be like the coolest place in the country when it comes to the metaverse.
I think yeah, like at first Sandbox into Decentraland, it's like, oh well, I want to be Snoop Dogg's neighbor, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so it was that. But now I feel like the way we're doing it is kind of more of like a direct to customer model where we're just like send them a link, and that's it. So it's like whoever you want to meet with in there or whoever you're promoting to or whatever. It's just like a simple link. You don't even need a crypto wallet. Like you can just log in through your Apple ID or whatever how you normally would, which I love because I want to make it more accessible for people who are not into crypto.
Yeah.
And like I also want to like separate it the two. Like I think like VR, metaverse, AR, all those things are like great marketing tools that can mix reality and also like enhance our everyday. Whereas like you know, crypto and the NFTs and stuff, it's been kind of more hyped and more like an investor
Yeah.
market and like more like a stock feel or whatever. So yeah, like I think it's like two kind of totally different sectors. But it's interesting to also like see how they've even grown so much. Like this really all just came out of like nothing.
Like literally out of nothing.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I feel like the crypto is like people are just adapting it because it's like associated with this like get rich quick thing. But
Well, because it was like I felt like it really did get this reputation for being like just another stock
yeah,
market
it's just like the
thing,
stock
and people
market.
were just like flipping whatever thing got hot or whatever, which is cool. But like at the same time, there's this whole other use and industry. Like it's more practical.
Yeah.
Like even for like the art perspective, like how NFTs, right? As an artist, I can use an NFT to now like give myself copyrights without having to go through all that legal, you know? Like so now I minted my thing. It proves that it's mine. And that's that. Like, and I can sell direct to customer. And then like also if they resell them, then it benefits them and it benefits me. I don't have to go through like, you know, a bunch of third parties, middlemen and stuff to sell my products. Like you can make your communities, sell direct to them. Like there's a lot of benefits that I don't know. I feel like the media sometimes like manipulated things
Yeah.
to seem like it's all just this one.
Well, I'm thinking too, like in terms of even like regulation, because I feel like the thing with the crypto is like, you know, when somebody's making money, everybody wants to get their hands in that pot. Like, I don't think people are fully aware of how much like these virtual worlds, because the same way you get like, you know, you could invest or whatever with the Bitcoin, you buy crypto and it's like, you know, it's on your wallet, it's secure. You know, it's money that's between us. Nobody else's hands are in it. Like no banks, no regulatory systems. Now they're trying to implement these regulatory things to get their hands in it, but it's like they're not necessary because of how strong blockchains are.
I think like basically the financial banking system would see that as a competition now. Right?
Yeah.
Like so, because they did like base Bitcoin's model off of a lot of things that were happening, like bailouts and stuff like that, to solve for that problem, right? So and like for inflation and stuff like that. So I guess like originally like the banking system would probably see that as competition and want to like get rid of it.
But I feel like this is gonna be like competition almost to the government. Like you create these worlds is like that are almost self-governed, or that they're like, are there rules in these worlds? Like what makes it tick? And do you ever worry about like a regulatory system coming in and being like, you guys could design these things, but not this. Otherwise, like
I mean, yeah, maybe if you had like a gambling thing or in there, or like some sort of like a strip club or something, you know, like I guess eventually there's gonna, you know, because there are like that you can go down a whole rabbit hole with that. You know, like,
I don't know how they would do it though.
I
It's
don't know
like,
how they would necessarily like. I guess it would be the host platform can kick you off, like
okay.
a social media type of thing. Like if your space is inappropriate for their.
It's
Like,
interesting.
like Twitter, you can get kicked off of Twitter. Like the same deal.
There's like no speeding in the sandbox, but there is speeding in Decentraland. And like,
Oh, really?
if some virtual cop comes up to me and is like, "Do you know how fast you were going?" I'm like, "Fuck you, man." I'm just take my headset off and be like,
yeah,
ah.
yeah, like also the good thing about these spaces too, are you can token gate them and you can have them like only your demographic of whoever you want in there is in there. Like,
What's a token gate? Like, I have to
so basically, like, say I wanted to only have like people from my company or whatever allowed to get into our office, like then you would just like if you had the token, then you'd be able to get into. It's like a password.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's trippy to think like how they could regulate it. Because the same way like that, if you invest in crypto now, you kind of know what's going on with your money to some extent. I mean, obviously it's fluctuating, but like, you know, you're not going to get like taxed on it. You know, you're not going to have like fees and certain things unless you like pull money out or put money in. Like it's pretty straightforward. I feel like the gratification that would come from like I could go to therapy in here. I could go to a concert. I could do all of these things. And now it's like, well, I'm not going to see an actual therapist in real life. So like I'm paying with my crypto. It like cuts out
Or
the
you can
middleman
still
of
even
government.
pay the therapist how they normally would or whatever, and still like. But now I think like the added element is you can manipulate the surroundings. So like now I'm actually like for mental health, right? Like I would build a space that was conducive to that kind of thing.
Got
So
you.
like maybe I'd use specific colors and sounds in there to like be a healing environment, you know, like which would just like help to like just enhance the therapy session and make you more comfortable. I think people maybe are a little more honest when it's not face to face. So that might be nice to. So yeah, I definitely like I've actually been talking about some people in like the school system about the mental health aspect too, of like maybe building some like safe places or whatever. So I think that's a really cool idea too. There's like, yeah, it's a number of ways you can use it.
Is there anything that scares you about it?
Just getting into the like wrong hands or something. Like definitely like yeah, cuz not everybody's like got like, you know, genuine like good-hearted spaces
I'd
that
argue
they'd like to build.
50% of the people don't. I'd like, like if I'm a record label, right? Like I have this artist that's been working really hard that I have to pay like 60% of my money to, or 60% of the money to, I should say. Now it's like I could have an artist that I build from scratch that I get 100% of the revenue from.
Or you could make that artist's life easier. Like, say there is an artist and they want to build a digital version of themselves. Now they don't have to tour as much because they can do their tours digitally, and they can stay home and like have a family and stuff. And you know what I mean? So you can look at it both ways. Like, it's kind of like however you utilize it, whoever the person building it is. It's like the same thing of like, you know, you ever heard that saying, like when somebody like gets money, it just enhances who they are.
The bad trade.
Yeah, like or good or bad,
good,
like whoever they are,
well
right?
said.
So it's like I think this like tech is just another thing of just it's like where are you gonna take it? I can't like you
Who
know
knows?
that's case by case. I think like and then also like yeah like I just like obviously like I'm just gonna say no to jobs that I think are just not within like my moral fiber. But
yeah, I mean, it's just trippy to think about because there's never been anything that I could think like even talking about art with you earlier, you know, it's like how much did art evolve? Like maybe stylistically, but like if you go back 500 years, it's like you're taking something that could be like colors and you're putting them on something like tangible, like, you know, to work with things that aren't necessarily tangible in that way. It's like you watch, all right, well, they're painting this different way. They're painting this different way. They're painting this different way. And now it's like you go like that and the whole thing's done.
So I think the cool thing about it for me is like, I feel like a lot of artists have this inside of them that they want to like leave something behind, like, or whatever, like a piece of them or, you know, whatever it is. So like, I think like the cool thing would be that like, I fully curated the gallery and like I have it built how I want. So like people could still visit this gallery like way long.
Forever.
Yeah, like as long as the files exist. You know what I mean? Like this could be in a museum or whatever, and they can do a whole exhibit that they have these files, you know? And who knows what the tech is going to be by then. So maybe it's like holograms and stuff or whatever. Like, you know, I don't know. But like it's all kind of the same base and the same files.
It
So-
trips me out because it makes me feel like we're in a simulation right now. Like to bring it full circle, it really does. It feels like it's so real
People
and
have
so
that theory.
early.
There is that theory, but
Like if
you
we're
know,
all
on some
Neuralink,
Matrix shit.
yeah, it trips me out. It's like because how far before you come full circle? They say like history repeats itself. Like you know, it's like could this have happened? I don't know. It trips me. It trips me out, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's sick to see.
I think it's like for me it's just like been a cool like a form of expression or whatever, and like escape or whatever, that you can just build whatever. But yeah, no, it does like blur the lines of reality, and especially for being like someone who builds them, because now it's like, well,
Yeah, like
it's like pretty crazy, but
it's even more real for you.
yeah. But at the same time, I don't necessarily subscribe to that theory.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just thinking about it, it trips me out.
Yeah.
Have you ever put like, because I'm curious what the difference is between somebody that's like really old trying it out versus somebody like your kid who's just like a kid.
Yeah, like I haven't. I mean, not like even like the older people I've put in there are still kind of like hip and stuff.
Yeah,
like
they're like art older people.
But like even like my friend had his grandma log into the party on her phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so she was able to come in and dance or whatever. Like
Oh my
she didn't
gosh.
have any trouble, so that was good. Yeah, I want to make it accessible to everybody. But yeah, I'd say like the headset is a little more getting used to, because you're like actually in there and using like a gaming aspect, but like anyone could figure it out on their phone. It's like I could text you the link, you click it, and you're in there.
What are the headsets priced at, and are they going down in price, up in
They're not
price?
that bad. Like you can get one for like $300-$400.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
And they have the used ones too.
got you.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking into that.
But then
today.
you can also like even have these headsets that are, it's just a plastic piece. And like how I even found this is my son got this like book thing that it was a VR headset, right? But it was an app.
Okay.
So it's like a plastic piece that you can just slide your phone into the front, and your phone
Got
now
you.
does this thing where it kind of does the VR thing.
Oh
for you.
wow, I've seen that. Like, there's certain YouTube videos where you could like move the phone and it like moves wherever.
Right. So when they put that in the headset, the glass is already in there. That'll
Got you.
do
And
it.
it makes you
so
feel like
it's
you're
just
in.
your phone is becoming,
It's
the modem
wild.
for that. But I think that's really useful for like education purposes. If you have a lot of classrooms, the kids already have their phones,
Yeah.
So it'd be much more feasible to just get a bunch of the plastic headsets.
I've always thought that with like interviews, especially because like even when I was at Hot 97, like we'd have like somebody like Kanye come in, and I would get to watch from like behind the glass, but like be in the room where like Kanye's at talking. I'm like, if I could watch every interview like this, it would be like insane. And I haven't really gotten that feeling. I haven't seen technology, like at least cameras, be able to do it. Do you think there's going to be a point where it's like you could almost design with cameras? Like if you want to take a photo of like a house and just have it converted into VR?
I can actually do a scan. Like I could scan this water bottle
Okay.
and have the same exact water bottle and bring it into my computer.
Wait,
Like, I
so
could
how do you
scan
do it? With your phone?
Yeah.
And you could just scan a person and it's like, is it like exact?
Well, there's also like a better version that's like a handheld one that's like a little more expensive. But any of the pro new iPhones, they have
Oh, wow.
you can scan things. Like I have like I can literally just have you stand and go around you in a circle, and I'll
Oh my
have
God.
you. Like we do that with sculptures and stuff a lot.
I was going to ask, like in the world that I was in that you built, like what percentage of that world would you say is scanned, or what
Oh
percent?
no, I didn't scan those.
Nothing. That's 100% built from,
Yeah, like sculpted.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's wild. What would be something like worth scanning, do you think? Is
Anything
it
that's a one of. Like,
Okay.
So like especially like priceless paintings, sculptures,
Gotcha.
people, anything that furniture, whatever,
It's wild.
whatever you want to bring into your thing. Like that exists. But yeah, or you can just like, yeah, just build them, model them.
Is there any way that this is like integrated with like how they have like these chat bots and like AI? I mean, obviously it's like there's AI, but is there anything that you could construct that like is very interactive in that sense where it's like not human?
So we have people on the team that we're just meeting with my business partner that they do AI. They make AI.
Okay.
So we've been talking to them to like kind of bring that aspect in. But I personally have been using AI to help myself a lot, like just for like writing stuff that I don't want to spend the time to write,
Yeah.
or just giving you like a good starting point and then now editing that. Like but now like they're even gonna I was seeing that there's even gonna be like a text to object AI eventually that you could just write like I want a flower,
Oh wow, and
and
it'll
then
like
it
code
will
it for
give
you.
me the 3D object.
Yeah, because I was thinking if there was
But we're
like,
not there yet. But like it does exist, and I know like it is being developed, but they just haven't released it yet.
yeah, because I would have like walked right into that room if there was like a tour guide that I could interact with. But
Oh, we
I'm
can do that.
okay.
Yeah, like you could either have a someone that you hire to work your space for your company that's always logged in,
But it has to be like a
or
physical person right now.
yeah, or you can do an animated one who is like I could do just have a recording and have him animated and he does like his
He
spiel.
responds to like whatever kind of stuff.
It wouldn't be like a response. It would be more like at this point it would be more like he's animated to give you like this 2-minute speech.
Got you. Okay.
And then he would stop and then you can go explore.
Very
or
like
whatever.
Animal Crossing, like.
Yeah, like gaming wise. Yeah, he would be like a non-player character.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but then the player characters are the avatar. So if you essentially like say you already have a secretary and you just want her to turn her app on while she works,
Well,
she could always answer people's questions like in the space too.
It's got to be only a matter of time before, like, if I walk into that office and I talk to the secretary and I'm like, "Hey, what are you?"
That
well,
it just links you to.
that it like has its own personality to some extent.
Well, I think that's even like with the whole AI like compiling all that data, right? Eventually they're gonna put it into something. Like, that scares me.
Yeah, because I'm like,
Then
like,
it's
how
like
do you
now
know?
we have like an iRobot thing.
Yeah,
But
if you're talking to a person or not. Oh my gosh. Do you ever run into people like in these worlds while you're building them? Like now that things are
no, they
established.
can't go in while I'm building. Like, so it's like once it's built, then I upload it.
Oh, okay. So
And now I have host capabilities. So like if it's your space, you would have your host capabilities. So you could like kick people out or like say who can talk and who can't talk. You're the only one who can change the music in there. A bunch of different things. So it's like it's your space. Like yeah.
it's pretty fascinating stuff, honestly. Like like I feel like anytime I've heard about it, it's been in small doses and it's kind of so much to wrap your head around. But to like think of it in terms of like all that it could be used for, but also just talking to somebody who's broken it down step by step, because I feel like in
that
being
like
in
is
there,
our goal to make it like more approachable and to make it more tangible for people and to like just make it make sense.
You
know?
definitely did it today. I'll tell you that, because it hasn't made any sense to me. Like I mean, to some extent, like I guess foundationally, like I understand the theory behind it is like you create another world, right? But like simple enough. But to see how it's broken down from like just an empty black space to being like literally a whole nother world that feels very real. It makes my head run in so many different directions, and there's so many different ways to use it. Like, I mean, even we were talking outside just before the podcast, like any one company at this point has so many different divisions, whether it's like Apple has a marketing team, a design team, an advertising team, and it really could benefit each and every part of that business. You know,
Right.
it's not just meant for like video games for like, okay, unwind and have fun, or
No, you could actually like host all your staff meetings in your space. You can host client meetings. You can even like generate revenue, have ticketed events, like have meet and greets, have concerts, you name it. You can have a festival in there, like, and yeah, just have it ticketed. Like, so I think it just opens up revenue streams for people, helps them market their current platforms. You can click out to whatever it is that they already have going on. So it's just adding to that rather than like replacing it.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Cool.
I want to go back in the headset. I'll be so
Right?
honest. I need to buy one ASAP.
Yeah.
What are you working on now? What's like to come, and what is the company like focusing on is like the next?
So we've just started Meta Learn, which is a subsidiary, and that's going to be I want to build experiential education models.
What does that mean? Like experience, like
So rather than me reading a book and telling you about how the solar system works, I can just say like, here, go into outer space. They put the headset on, and now it has all the planets labeled, and
gotcha.
like so it's like you're actually seeing it in real time. Because I think most people learn in a tangible way. Like so, if you see it, it's the experience, and now you retain
Yeah.
it. Rather than just being lectured it or reading it or whatever. I think that's like even a step deeper that you can take it. You can go back in time. You can go to a period in history.
Yeah, and
Whatever.
feel like you're actually
yeah,
in
and
this
just like,
place.
or if you're like reading a novel, like maybe they want to build the set of the novel. Like, there's a bunch of different ways you can use the learning aspect, and I think also just like having a space for like kids to interact with each other, and then also like bringing in that gaming element for kids because kids game all day anyway. So
Yeah,
it's like,
every day.
yeah, so it's like they much rather like I think and also like from my perspective, my son is homeschooled, so I feel like he'd much rather like log into there
For
and it's like
sure.
this cool interactive thing on his headset
Well,
than like having to sit down and listen to this spiel.
yeah,
You know?
whoever's like just reiterating the stuff
Yeah,
that forever.
because then he's already zoned out, like you know.
I remember in like 6th grade, I had to do a project about like the Native Americans, whatever, and it was like you had to build like a shoebox for like a teepee and all these things. Like the thought of being able to like
So like
actually be
just
there
go in there, yeah.
is really trippy to me. Like especially like you figure kids used to play like the Oregon Trail and like would learn so
That's
much shit
funny.
about like
Yeah,
Lois
we used
Clark.
to play
And,
that. That's so crazy.
yeah, like now you could literally like be
Like do a whole
on
Oregon
it.
Trail thing, or you could do any like literally whatever the curriculum is.
How do you find places like if I wanted to just jump into like if I was looking for
There's an explore page.
okay.
So it's like a lot like social media that you have your account and then it's got all your spaces under it.
Okay.
And then there's an explore page that you can, and then also like when you're in the space, like say you're throwing a party or something, you can make your space active at that moment, and it'll just do it by how many people are joined into your space.
Oh wow.
So like we were able to get like first on the explore page when we did our event, just having like all the people, the traffic to your site, and then I guess it's like also a lot like a server for gamers.
What's like a lot of people right now? Like if I jump on like Madden,
You
there
can
might
have
be
up to like
thousands.
500 people at a time in your space, but that's
Okay.
at like one instance or whatever. But then yeah, again, as the file sizes grow and as the tech grows, like it'll be more people.
It's wild. Yeah, because you could literally end up having like a Bonnaroo, like 100,000 people in one space. If the space will facilitate it, I suppose.
The way you would do it right now is in different instances. Like I would just basically copy and paste the main space to different,
Got you.
like just different spaces. So you'd be with like a different group of 500 people,
Okay.
but
'Cause
it'd
I'm
still be
thinking-
like you can, have those different links for, to
If-
hold more.
If you have 150 people at your party, at the launch party, and then another 150 people show up out of nowhere, will it feel crowded in there, or will it feel like
Well, yeah, it would get like,
you're more and more crowded?
Yeah.
Could you expand it on site, or do you have to
no,
like?
it would be like, that's it.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to limit it from like up front. Like this party is built for 500. After that,
Yeah, it won't let them join in. Like they
Got
wouldn't
you.
be able to join yet.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's like capacity.
Could I pay off a bouncer at your?
Eventually.
I'd be like, let me hit you off with a little bit of Ethereum real quick. Let me in this party. They kick somebody
It's
out.
so funny. Yeah, I mean theoretically, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine that though, like having the bouncers walk up to you.
Yeah, and be like, listen, if you want to stay in this party,
It's funny because like I mean, you could get that deep into it that you hired people to work the event and
It's
everything, but
trippy.
like necessarily you don't have to, but like if you wanted to, you could.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is because I'm trying to think of it like in just terms of who would be on it in the real world. And like, I don't know, it seems like it's just like a copy and paste of the real world. It's just going to take obviously a lot of time, but
Yeah, that and like I think like I see it as a good replacement for Zoom.
yeah.
Like, so rather than having to like have that personal like space invaded of like now we're seeing into your house on the Zoom. Like we can avoid that.
Yeah,
like,
now just like
and like not only just avoid that, but like also like be subtly selling whatever it is to the person before they even enter. You know,
mean,
like
in your world, I don't know how subtle it is. It's just billboards everywhere.
Yeah, we did that on purpose so people can like get an idea of,
I got it.
you know, that you can market here, you know, like so. But we also could like sell the ad space if we're doing an event the same way you would like get sponsorships in real life. You can change out the ads. You can like add in different models and stuff. Maybe they want like a 3D logo or whatever added in or.
I'll be so honest. I'm happy that it's people like yourself that are like smart and like that are like designers and creatives. Because I feel like if it was the people that are in control of our world right now, if they were building something like this, it would be like the scariest place in the world. I feel like the way that
I've had some conversations and I'm like, you cannot build that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, and the fact that you even thought of it is crazy. But yeah,
that's what worries me.
You know, and that's like, you know, government shit.
Yeah, nah, it scares me because I feel like the same way you could like do subliminal advertising, it's like, I mean, we see it with just social media right now. You know, there's like governments that have like fan pages built for like groups to just instigate ish. And I don't know, it's wild. But at the same time, I think the fact that like some of the predominant places that are popping up are more created by people who are creatives and people that have good intention.
Yeah.
I hope it stays that way because the way things are going crypto right now, how they're trying to regulate it and like people are losing a lot of money and it's like, it's really scary.
Well, I think, I feel like Bitcoin is so much different than all the other coins. Like, yeah, the rest is just kind of like a free for all, you know what I mean? Like, and Ethereum, like, because Ethereum has an actual like tangible network of NFTs and stuff that it gives a utility. But like some of them are just, you know.
Is most of like the worlds that you're building like going to be run more on Ethereum or more?
You can just do it on like US dollar, even like you can just
connect anything.
Connect to your website, your ordering platform. Like I could have a store where I have like my shirts and stuff. People can see it in real time, all the different colors or whatever, and then just click to my ordering page.
That's wild. Yeah, so, they could try it on.
Yeah. Even like with an AR thing, you could just hold your phone up and see how it looks on you. It can track your body. So you could, and then just press like order now or whatever. So like it can just be like, I don't want to merge it with crypto quite yet.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Like you can have an aspect of crypto where you do the token stuff and you sell stuff for Ethereum. Like NFTs, they're all linked into the space. So like you could buy an NFT for Ethereum off of there.
Do you have any insight as to like what Facebook's doing with this, by the way? Because I know they like changed their whole name to Meta. They're trying to like own the metaverse, but they don't have their own like.
Well, it's kind of why we did Meta work because it's like metaverse wasn't there.
Yeah.
They just like adopted it as well. Like they didn't create it, you know what I mean? And then I don't know what they're doing.
Well, I don't even know.
They're laying people off.
Yeah, straight up. But I saw like the commercials.
But I feel like that's because of the AI or something.
But you can't go into Facebook world yet. There's no like.
Well, I don't know. They were doing something. Their thing didn't even have legs. I'm so confused.
Yeah, I have no idea. I was curious. I feel like you'd be more in the know than me.
No, I'm just like, okay. Well, but I mean, they've got to have something that they're up their sleeve or whatever. Like, and they did buy out the headset people. So maybe they're just like, let's go direct to the source and just own the headsets. I
can't wait for the sunglasses. Like I saw that they collabed with Ray-Ban or Oakley. I don't know which one it was.
Yeah, well, they're gonna definitely like just make them more and more streamlined.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this theory about contact lenses, but I'm not into that. That's like
what
too
to like
far.
See?
Like contact lenses. Yeah, how crazy would that be?
Oh my God.
I'm not doing that.
I don't know. I would consider it. I'm not even gonna hold you.
I think it's like too cyborgy or whatever. Like
I'm just worried if like he's driving with those contacts.
Oh no, you can't.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God.
I guess because you could do the AR with the sunglasses and you would still see what's going on, but you would just see like whatever else.
Yeah, like whatever else pops up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's like so much for this to go. We're gonna have to do this again like in 6 months from now when it's completely different again.
It's all like it's crazy how the like fast pace. Because as soon as I finish one thing, then it's like a whole another element has been added, and now I have to like oh wow, we can do this now. Like it's crazy.
And just keep updating it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, how can people keep up with you? And if they want to work with your company, I mean, is it a long list? Is it like, because there has to be a point where you're like, I can't take on any more clients. And I feel like it's going to get there quick.
We actually have like a good sized creative team. So we can take on, a lot of clients at this point. But yeah, like they just hit up us up at metawork.io or 1-855-MetaWork. And just WRK, no O in them. Yeah.
Got you.
So METAWRK.
And how can they find you? Are you still like, are you doing art shows like in person? Are you doing like?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I feel like that's just like in me. I just
no
have
matter
to do
what.
It. Yeah, like that's just like I have to do that. But yeah, I'm painting all the time, and I'm putting together some group shows, curating those like mostly in the Lower East Side area. We'll probably do one like next month or something. Have a few things going on for NFT NYC, which is coming up.
What's that? That's like...
It's just like a lot of panels and events just, for the NFT community, a lot of crypto communities and stuff like that. They have like hackathons going on. And
what's a hackathon?
So there's all different ones. But like, for instance, they might say like... build an app, and whoever comes up with the best app in 3 days or whatever is the winner.
Shit.
And you get paid a lot.
That's
like,
crazy.
You can win. You like win prize money.
I wonder too, because now that you said that, I remember I went to like a video game thing. I think it was like Overwatch at the Barclays Center, and it was like 30,000 people watching like 4 kids play a video game. I'm like waiting for the days. There's gonna be like stuff like that. I feel like for the metaverse too, like competitive.
Yeah, well, they even had like I saw they did one to build like the hackathon was just they had a bunch of students and all come in and build a space, and whoever won like best space won.
Have you ever competed in any of these?
No, but I should because there's like it's like a lot of bread attached. But no, I haven't done them.
Yeah, and I feel like
I have friends that do.
You're definitely ahead of the game on it. Like I don't know anybody else that's designing like that yet. Is it like are people in like America on it? Like who's leading the charge at this?
I would say it's all over the place. Like Dubai is really heavily invested in metaverse and just crypto in general. Wow. And yeah, I think like each country has been just like putting some money into developing it, and but yeah, I think it's all over the place.
It's fascinating stuff for real.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I appreciate you coming by to hang out with me today.
Thanks.
I've learned so much.
Thanks for having me.
I'm definitely ordering a headset. I don't know if you have like an Amazon Associates link, but if anybody wants to order a headset, I'll try and get you guys a link in the bio or a link down here in the YouTube. Muse, I'm so grateful for you putting me onto this.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We're gonna have to do some work on this. One day, like I want to be able to do this podcast in the metaverse, like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In whatever world is your world, or I'm gonna have to spy like
we'll
15
build
megabytes.
Mike's meeting world. Yeah.
All right, sick. Well, until next time, how can they keep up with you again?
So on my Instagram is not_your muse. Same thing on Twitter. And then we also have MetaWork on Instagram too.
Amazing. Thank you for stopping by, Muse.
Thanks.